Robert Frank was born in Zurich in 1924. He began his career in photography in the mid-1940s before emigrating to America in 1947. In 1955, he then embarked on a 2-year trip across America during which he took over 28,000 photographs. These photographs led to his first book, The Americans. In his lifetime, Robert Frank has made 25 films and published a dozen books. He will always be known for the book The Americans. The Americans is generally acknowledged to be one of the greatest photography books ever published. It was first published in France in 1959 and the following year in the United States. This is a photograph from the cover of The Americans, taken in New Orleans on a trolley in 1955. This photograph is ethically evaluative. Frank found attention in the gloss of American culture and wealth over race and class differences, which gave his photographs a clear contrast to most other people's works. Frank used unusual focuses, low lighting, and cropping that was different than anything else out there. These are the images that showed us that life is not always beautiful. Sometimes life is not easy, and some days life can be boring. Frank started out using a Rolleiflex TLR camera, but had switched to a Leica because it was small and better suited for his documentation. This image was taken in Hoboken, New Jersey in 1955 and shows the patriotic spirit of America. He uses diffused lighting with black and white colors to bring out the flag. This photograph is from the collection of The Americans, which is widely celebrated as the most important photography book since World War II. This photograph by Robert Frank is titled The 4th of July. It was taken in Jay, New York in 1954. This picture is explanatory yet interpretive. It is explanatory because you can infer that it is the 4th of July, but interpretive because you can't tell exactly where they are or where those girls are going. This picture is also in black and white, which makes it more appealing to the eye. The flag is not centered in the image, which also makes the photograph much more interesting. Robert Frank was recently featured as the cover of the New York Times on July 5, 2015. The article was titled "The Man Who Saw America: Looking Back with Robert Frank, the Most Influential Photographer Alive." The article talks a lot about how he created the American book and how he interpreted his own work. As seen by the pictures before, he has really traveled very far to get the pictures he has selected for this book. The beginning of the article states, Robert Frank saw the truth of the United States in the 1950s and showed it to the world in his pictures. 60 years later, the reclusive artist reflects on his original life and what became an American masterpiece. Robert Frank is extremely influential. He showed America in a light where not everything was perfect. It is important to be able to show this to the world. He has a unique style and is extremely creative. This is what makes him an all-around great photographer.